Because you guys really encouraged me to make this, it is here, boys. I've made a compilation of my England campaign detailing everything from 1444 all the way till the end of the campaign, where I explain as much as I can and I try to keep in all the fun and enjoyable moments. If you want to watch every part individually, you'll have a link to each part in the description below. And hey guys, if you are here and you enjoy the content, consider subscribing. I'm really trying to get to 200,000 subs so I can conquer the world and restore the Roman Empire in real life. And yes, I think I am able to do it. Don't you say it's not possible, Ludi. Everything is possible if you put your mind to it. Okay, now let's get to 200 subs and I'll be the judge of the rest of the thing, alright? With the recent update and the Lions of the North DLC having come out, a lot of changes did happen to EU4. Like, for example, the English over here now have the nobility estate, which they did not have before. There's other changes like the government reforms, which have been buffed, and a lot of them have been added as well. And not to mention the rebalance to the idea groups is pretty significant too. So what I want to do with this particular run is I want to play England up until the 1700s, and I'll be explaining the new meta when it comes to playing toll, when it comes to playing trade-wise, how to get a lot of money, how to have a strong army. A lot of the things that I'll be talking about today will apply to all nations in the new update, not just the English. I'm also going to link in the description below my estate, my government reform, and my army composition videos, all updated to the new patch. And I'm also going to link the perspective of the French in case you're interested in seeing the initial war from their perspective rather than from the English perspective. So the very first thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that now that we have the nobility estate, we have the ability to get the +1 monthly military power, as well as eventually we can also get the governing capacity, the cheaper generals and army tradition decay, extra manpower, military advisor cost reduction, supremacy over the crown, and so on. We do control the English channel node, the strongest trade node in the game, and it will stay the strongest node up until the end of the game. The reason why is because we will be going colonial, and most of the actual income in this node comes from the colonies, not from these particular provinces. As you can see, most of the trade winds here arrive from the various parts of the New World and from Asia into the English channel, or some of it filters into Bordeaux and then afterwards again into the English channel. Alternatively, there's a couple more nodes going into the Sevilla node and eventually in the Genoa one, but we will be cucking over the Sevillian node and we'll try and get all of that juicy trade towards us. We can also get our debate from the parliament too, and oh, we got culture conversion cost minus 15%. That is really great for me because I plan on culturally converting some regions here. That's right, boys, that's right. We're going to be making Cornwall English, as we will the Island of Man and all of the Welsh lands. Why am I doing this? Well, I am a scumbag that does not like other cultures around, but most importantly, it's because I prevent separatists from popping off in these provinces, and I prevent future rebellions, especially since I plan on developing all of my country a lot in this playthrough, and I'd rather develop provinces that are English and will never trigger rebellions, rather than develop provinces that are not even an accepted culture, like the Highlanders over in the Isle of Man. And as a general note, always convert small culture groups rather than set them up as accepted cultures, because end of the day, you don't have that many accepted culture slots. So if the culture that you have available there is just like a few provinces, convert them to your primary culture. Don't waste your slot. Another thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be deleting the fortifications we have in the mainland of France, and we're doing this because during our war with the French, we do not want to give them any war score. And let's continue with our estates. If you want to see a full rundown of the estates, you can see that if you watch my estates video in the description, because honestly, this is just a very standard starting estate now that we have the nobility estate added to us. One major thing I have to say that is a little bit different is we're going to be giving out the monopoly on wine, and we're doing this because we have only two provinces that produce wine in the south bit of France, namely Bordeaux and Labourd, and we will be releasing Gascony from here. In fact, let's do that now. First, I'm going to be exploiting manpower in these two provinces, since I'm not going to own these provinces anymore afterwards. And on state, this constant ratio is going to give me 5 development in my capital state, which is great. So now watch what happens when I release Gascony as a vassal, Booyah Snoky, and this privilege is going to be disappearing as soon as I unpause one day, and it's gone. That is because we do not have any more provinces that produce wine, so we basically got 42 ducats and 1 mercantilism for free without any actual consequences. And we did release Gascony because we plan on feeding Gascony most of the French parts in the south. We're not going to go for the personal union. I know some people will tell you that you should go for the personal union. You can do that, but then you're going to be stuck with a massive personal union. The tough part is the fact that you have to integrate them, and you're wasting 50 years minimum, which is the amount you need to wait before you can start integrating them, in which you're losing out on the income that you would otherwise be getting from these provinces. I would rather by 1490 own all of the French provinces directly than just start integrating these provinces in 1490. That's 50 years wasted tax income, production, trade income, as well as manpower that you don't have. By releasing vassals, feeding the cores, you get less aggressive expansion, and you can integrate these guys way faster, which in turn means you getting that income for your country a lot faster also, and you can use it to fuel other expansions around the world. We also get a couple of special advisors that are cheaper for us, like John Fortescue, which is a 50% cheaper Diplo Rep advisor, and John Capgrave. We start with a 000, and that is going to be triggering the English War of the Roses. We want that to trigger, and we want to get rid of Mr. Henry VI here, which is bringing us down, let's face it. I'm also going to be getting the Burger loans, which are 1% loans, so that means for 5 loans here, I'm only paying 0.65 interest. One more thing to note is that you start with a little bit of extra autonomy in the provinces of Maine and Alençon. Make sure you lower that autonomy, and then afterwards it's time to start exploiting our manpower development everywhere in our provinces that we can exploit it in. We need to get 60% manpower to enact this first mission here to get the claims on the Irish lands before the first month even passes. And Booyah Shaka, we did exploit pretty much in every single province that we could. That gave us 16,000 manpower. If you want to cheese this even more, you can use the increased enlistment edict, which is going to give you an extra 25% manpower. But if you do this, you cannot change this for 12 months. And personally, I'd rather have my first edict set as the trade edict, which allows me to get more money from the trade node here. If you can also get an alliance either with the Castilians or with the Aragonese. Most of the times, Aragon is more willing to join in a war against the French, especially if they have them set as a rival. They don't have them set as a rival now, but they have vital interest in France. So I think we might actually be able to get these guys as an ally too, for the early bit of the campaign at least. And we also are going to be recruiting the Free Company in Oxford. Now we can do levy the troops. Our main focus is going to be to kill off as many of the small Irish counties as possible before our own civil war starts. And for that matter, we plan on avoiding the war with the French at the beginning until we finish conquering the Irish lands and we finish our civil war. Another reason we delay the initial war with the French is because at the start in 1444, France does have significantly more troops than us, but by focusing on military here and by getting some army tradition from fighting in the Irish lands, we even out the odds. Now, as you guys probably know, the event of Maine will trigger, and that's going to make us end up in a war against the French at the start, which is something we really don't want unless we want to enforce that PU over France. So the easy way of avoiding that war for the time being is simply to just sell the province of Maine or give it away. I prefer to give it away to Provence because Provence has a coronet. That also means that Provence is going to get worse relations with the French, which eventually means that they likely will break their alliance, and it's going to make it easier for me to fight the two nations separately. I don't recommend you give it out to Brittany, because if you give it to Brittany, sure, you can take it back faster, but there's also a chance that France or Provence is going to attack Brittany instantly, since they both have cores on Maine. But we're going to continue like this with a few wars. Every 1 month we declare a new war, and whilst we're doing this, we're bringing our units over to the Pale, from which we will be attacking everybody in Ireland. Desmond and O'Falley, sure, we can go for these boys next. Let's go for Desmond. It hasn't even been 1 year since we started this campaign, and I'm already in 7 separate wars, and I'm basically occupying all of Ireland, or in the process of occupying it. Is this why the Irish don't really like the British? I'm starting to get the idea of what's happening in Ireland, boys. One problem I do have is the fact that I keep getting unconditional surrender, which in turn means that I have to peace out these nations, or I'm getting a lot of war exhaustion until I peace them out. But I have to also siege a lot of these provinces in order to peace out the entire alliance block. And we finished the conquest of Ireland pretty much on time, since now we're gonna have to go through the civil war process. And surprisingly, we only got 3 war exhaustion, so it's not as bad as it could be. Looks like the French have just attacked Brittany, and Brittany is allied to the Scots, which means that I can attack the Scots now without having to worry about the French. And you know what? I feel confident that I can deal with both the Scots and the civil war at the same time. So let's do both. I'm gonna go for the subjugation CB against the Scots because I am struggling with my admin points, and I really want to make sure that I have admin points to get admin tech 5 sooner rather than later. And it's time for the war as well. Let's go with Edward IV because he is a 433 Chad Lord. I did just have 3 beers and a whole bottle of wine a few moments ago because I had dinner. So I might be a little bit tipsy, which means we might do even more culture conversion of the lands around us. I'm also going to be sallying out from the fort in Northumberland so I can support my units. These 2,000 extra troops are going to make the difference between winning and losing that battle. And the last of the Irish folk have been integrated into the greater English nation. That means we can do the mission Conquest of Ireland that offers plus 35% local potatoes produced. Aber unsere Stärken war Pennykurum, boys. Oh, that is really gonna come in handy there. 5% professionalism means that we can slacken our recruitment and get some extra manpower. I like how Scotland actually thought that they can defeat me by landing in Cornwall for some reason. Don't they know there's no more Cornish people in Cornwall? It's only English, boys. And we finally restored order in our country. That means we got 1 stability from it, and we got rebels in Ireland. Well, that's to be expected. And that means we can also set Henry Tudor as our heir and get another stability. You know what I'm gonna do? Actually, I'm gonna get 1 stability now. I should have done this before. As for the peace deal with the Scots, of course, I'm gonna be vassalizing them as I mentioned before. I'm also gonna make them cancel the court they have on the island of Man, and I'm gonna take a little bit of money. I'm not taking the other 2 provinces here from the Isles because this is now going to become an independent country with a 15 years truce. I could have taken 1 province, but then likely what would have happened is the Isles would have joined the trade league. So now, because they have 2 provinces, they will not join a trade league, and they're likely not going to get any actual allies. So it's going to be easy for me to kill them off in 15 years. We're going to be turning our attention over here because it seems like Provence got excommunicado. Oh my god, they're at war with how many countries? Burgundy, France, and me. Looks like I was not the only one that had this idea, was I? Hot dang it, they actually got to Anjou before me, seriously. Don't forget that now we can give out the strong duchies privilege because we have 2 vassals, because we need a lot of extra troops also. I'm getting the Grand Company, and I'm basically gonna use these guys to kill off the Irish rebels. So, guess what happened, boys? France annexed all of Provence, and what was left of it was annexed by Burgundy. It's not as bad as it seems, though, because they only have 1 province left, the one in Maine, which means that I can make them a vassal for just 6 aggressive expansion, and as consequence I can use all of their cores in France, 5 cores in the south, another 2 cores in the north. We can also now designate Calais the staple port, which gives us 10 mercantilism as well as trade power and tax modifier in the province of Calais until the end of the game. Avec les court painter, don't mind if I do, sir, don't mind if I do. And let's make sure that we have these guys set to autonomously suppress the rebels. And it looks like we can get an alliance with Austria because I just realized Aragon, who was gonna help me against the French, just became a junior partner of Castile. And what do you know, boys, we got Renaissance in London, and the moment I was waiting for, I got military tech 5, which means my troops are considerably better than the French units. And before I start the war, I'm gonna be provoking the rebellions in Ireland, killing off all these rebels, because me killing these rebels now means that they will not pop off during the war with the French, and I can use this army here in the war against the French rather than having them trapped in Ireland. And the great part is because we've been currying favors with the Austrians for the past few years, we can also call in Austria in this war, making it a lot easier. I'm gonna set my war target as one of the cores of Gascony in the province of Perigord. Lassago, boys, and look at this map now. This is just delicious. And I just noticed Portugal has only 4,000 units. Are you kidding me right now? What have you been doing, for Christ's sake, people? Seriously, why is it that whenever the AI plays on my side, they have 4,000 units, but whenever they're against me, they recruit 100? The best part about this war, though, is that the French are actually focusing 100% on Austria, and they're basically not even trying to unsiege the stuff that I siege down from them. So it's a super easy war for me, and I'm getting all the money that I'm getting from the French lands that I'm occupying also. This is what we call in England a very good win. That was totally a perfect English accent, by the way, in case you never heard English accents before. Remember that whenever you occupy Paris, you can do the mission Strategic Control that gives a restoration of uniency on France for the next 30 years. Oh, I didn't even realize Liège is in this war against me. Don't you just love it when the entirety of France is divided between me and my various vassals? Look how beautiful it is after all. Alright, so I'm basically giving all the stuff that I need to give back to my Vasalski, namely Provence and Gascony, and I'm also taking the province of Vanete so I can release Brittany later on. Coalition, as you can see, only the Isles of France, since, you know, these are all cores that I took with the exception of Vanete. The cool part is that we can start integrating Gascony right now. It's time for the Grand Company to go back and oppress the Irish people for the next few years. I actually just noticed that Charles is in charge of Burgundy. That means there's a high possibility that he's gonna die at some point in the nearby future, and then maybe I can get the inheritance. How would I do that considering that I'm rivaled with them? Well, I'm gonna attack them right now actually, and I'm gonna make them cancel their rivalry with me. To make it easier on myself, I'm gonna call in the Castilians in this war. Even though I don't necessarily need them, I'm still doing it to make it a quick war, because you never know when Charles is gonna die. Oh nine, the Austrians are under attack. We will help because we have a good Aliatenstein. Oh my god, did I just go to war with basically all of Central Europe here? I had to take a few loans because I need to embrace the Renaissance so I can actually get this technology before anybody else does. This way I have the edge when it comes to my military, and I can keep on conquering everybody around without any sort of repercussions essentially. And we can do our first idea set also. With the recent update, this is honestly extremely situational, and it depends on what kind of a playthrough you want to have and what exactly you're gunning for in your particular run. In my case, because I also plan on going colonial, I will be going for exploration ideas as my second idea set, not yet. For the first idea set, I also want to have a strong army, and I want to be able to play a little bit tall. So I am going to be going for aristocratic ideas, since I will have a surplus of military points for the beginning of the campaign. Exploration with aristocratic gives an extra 33% national manpower. That policy between exploration and aristocratic gives more than quantity idea gives. So essentially we're getting dev cost reduction as well as manpower plus 15% from aristocratic, army tradition decay, extra diplomats and general cost, cheaper cavalry, autonomy reduction, and then we get the exploration bonuses of being able to get a colonial empire plus 33% manpower. So it's like getting quantity, exploration, and aristocratic from the previous meta all into one set with that particular policy. I think it is definitely the meta for colonial nations especially. I got the war score that I need. I'm going to be taking a few extra provinces compared to what I initially thought I would take. I'm taking Bruges also because Bruges has 26 trade power in my main node of the English Channel, and I'm also taking Picardy so I can connect my lands between Calais and Normandy. Because we're super strong, we can also bully nations into giving us parts of their trade power. So I'm getting trade power in the English Channel node from the Frisians without having to even ask them through a war deal or anything. It's just insane. I'm doing the same from Utrecht here. They're giving me another 13. And also don't forget to always lower the autonomy whenever you can, since autonomy is the death of nations, the graveyard of empires, and that one Turkish guy at the corner of the street that keeps hitting you in the head whenever you pass by and you don't pay the Turkish fee. Ring ring, Isle boys, time to get back my course here for my beloved Scottish Vasalski. You don't exist, Isles, you don't exist. Come on. I'm not sure what happened in the Teutonic lands, but this truly is disgusting. I mean, what the schnapps, people. Danzig is now Polish, Ducal Prussia exists, as well as the Teutonic lands at the same time. Come on. I believe this also means I can do another mission that gives me claims on the Faroe Islands and all of the Norwegian lands in the North Atlantic, essentially. And it looks like Scotland managed to get Shetland and Orkney via the event that they almost always get, where they can purchase purchased those lands from the Norwegians, and I just saw Sweden actually cucked on over Norway big time. Now, Norway cannot even go from one side of its country to the other. It has to go around the entirety of the Langfjella mountain range, and I know I butchered that name. I'm sorry, Norwegian people. I love you very much. Well, looks like my gamble with Burgundy did not pay off. Feels bad, man, but at least I tried, you know. Better try than not try. I guess that's an old ancient saying, right? It was mentioned by Cicero during the first Star Wars engagement in the city of Atlantis. All of that happened. All right, time for another war, boys. This time it's against Norway, and hopefully we win this engagement because half of my army is on these ships. I'm about to disembark over in Denmark with them. That's right, I'm talking about the Grand Company. They're the ones that are leading the charge in this war. Why? Because I'd rather waste their manpower pool than my actual troops. Oh, nine! Mr. Lancaster has passed away. Well, you know, on the bright side, that means we're going to get a Trastamara next because we're getting an alliance, royal marriage with Castile. So that means whenever this guy dies, we are getting a Trastamara on the throne. We'll be able to get a union over Aragon and Castile in the future. This is basically for the second part of this campaign, if you know what I mean. We're planning 5 steps ahead, okay? That's what's going on here. Oh, how beautiful we look now that we've integrated Gascony. Let's make sure this is all actual, properly integrated lands here. Make them full states. We don't need to pay extra admin points for that. So with the recent patch, there have been some changes to the reforms. For example, centralized monarchical bureaucracy only gives 50% of its cost back instead of 100. Even though it only gives 50% back, if you're playing as a big blobby nation in Europe, you should still go for this. It's worth it. However, in our case here, we likely will be going for exile colonial companies for the extra 5% settler chance, but until that point, we'll be taking the reform progress growth to get our reforms a little bit faster. I also want to mention that they've actually showed now what kind of state edicts you're getting whenever you go for this particular reform. 50% tax modifier for the Age of Discovery, local religious unity contribution reduction, years of separatism, and the best one, goods produced modifier in the Age of Revolutions. That is a massive amount of money plus 33% local goods. The new meta with this is you go for the state edicts whenever you finished all of the reforms and you're in the 1700s to get the extra 33% boost to your economy. Oh, I just noticed Brandenburg fully annexed Mecklenburg. Oh, that warms my heart to see my little Brandenburg doing so well. All right, that was a fairly easy and short war, and now we managed to get the northern bits of the Atlantic, which means we will be able to get to the New World via the North Atlantic rather than having to go through the southern bits and take provinces in North Africa and so on. That, of course, is also a viable route. I personally prefer to take the northern one because usually you're able to go to the New World from the northern bit by Tech 7, Diplotech 7 that is, and until Diplotech 7 you can focus on centralizing and conquering most of the French region. And avec les round 2 against France, reconquest of our Bretonian cores this time, and I'm calling the Austrians for an easy war. Take note, very important guys, if I was gonna take money from France, I would not call in the Austrians because they would get a part of that money also, but because I only plan on taking land, it's fine to call in allies since they don't get anything in the peace deal. Hot damn! Palatinate just inherited Burgundy, boys. Oh, that is delicious news. You probably know what's gonna happen next, don't you guys? I also have a Burgundian province in Picardy with the Burgundian core from which I can release them because Francian is in the same culture group as Burgundian. Now, don't get shocked, guys, but yes, I'm gonna be committing a little bit of border gore here, and it is time to release Burgundy. Booyah Shnoki. Daria, go boys. Oh my god, they have cores on the... Oh boy, this is delicious. Okay, this changes everything because this area is actually a PU of Austria now, and some of it's independent. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to kill the HRE, aren't I? Also remember, guys, that whenever you integrate your vassals or your personal unions, even though you have full control of the provinces, they start with 60 autonomy, so you have to instantly lower the autonomy as soon as you've integrated those subjects. Luckily for us, the Austrians have managed to get both the Bohemians and the Hungarians as junior members, so by me attacking the Palatinate and fighting Austria, it's going to be a lot easier now to dismantle the HRE, since one of the HRE electors is a junior member of the Austrians. Alright, so I got alliances with all of the electors except the Palatinate and except Bohemia. So now that we've started the war, let's go ahead and start sieging down all of the provinces. Our goal is to get the 4 capitals of the HRE electors and emperor. 1 capital down, 3 more to go. Let's rush over for Prague now. Looks like my beloved ally Aragon here is actually sieging mines down. Oh wow, I just realized I'm at war with a lot of nations here, boys. And Prague has been taken. That means we just need Vienna left. I've also started integrating my vassal of Brittany. I'm able to do this because I enabled scutage on Brittany, which means that they're not joining in my wars, and as consequence I can integrate them when I am at war, since they are not. And there ya go, boyos. We now can dismantle the Holy Roman Empire with the click of this button here. Before we do that, because we are getting 100 prestige, we're gonna cheese that a little bit, and we're gonna be placating our vassals here, namely Burgundy, placating them twice, and the Clicius Maximus, we went up to 98 prestige, and there is no more monstrosity of a Holy Roman Empire around. That means a lot less aggressive expansion, and it also means we can start piecing out the nations we're not interested in from this particular war. So now we can also cancel the alliances that we have with the previous electors of the HRE, since we don't need to have these alliances. And it would appear that the Palatinate's willing to give me all of the cores for Burgundy. And in case you're wondering why did I not release Toulouse and feed them the cores, because I already have 2 of their cores here, and it would not be cost efficient just for the 4 provinces that are left outside of the Toulouse area. And yes, I'm making 22 ducats, and this is just the start of this. We're gonna end up making thousands of ducats from the English Channel node once we start colonizing. Extremely important, guys, that you build up the workshops in every single province that you have, as well as the barracks. You want to build them up in every province. Marketplace, basically keep this for whatever gives you above 3 trade power, so not in every province. Courthouses in every province again, and for churches as well, only in anything that gives you above 0.16 ducats, since that actually is going to be worth it. Anything below that is going to be not so cost efficient. Oh, and excuse me, what Pope? You have my beloved Provence's court? Cannot let you keep that, sorry. This is going to be ours now. And we managed to get knowledge of the New World maps from our beloved Portuguese broskies. This is going to really help us out with expanding in the New World a lot faster now. Transferred all of the provinces over to Burgundy, so we can do the peace deal now. Basically just gonna rinse and repeat like this until the truce is over with France in 4 years. Not sure how I feel about the Portuguese Union. I wasn't actually gunning for this. I was in fact gunning for the Castilian Union, but because of this war now, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, I guess. Let's see, did they actually cancel the royal marriage? Oh, they did cancel the royal marriage! No! Now I gotta get the royal marriage back with them in order to get that Trastamara. But on the bright side, Portugal already has colonies, so from that perspective, it's going to be a lot easier controlling the New World now between my personal colonies and my PU's colonies, namely Portugal. With Burgos taken out of the way, we have a free reign over carpet sieging the entirety of the Iberian Peninsula now, and that's pretty much exactly what we're going to be doing. I think it's also time we start our golden era. This will significantly help us out now in unlocking all of our exploration ideas and marching on into the New World. And of course, we're also going to get higher developed colonies. I really don't want to destroy Castile, since I still plan on getting the PU over them later on. So I'm only taking the southern tip here so I can facilitate my expansion around the world. And I'm taking their money and I'm making them give me war reparations, 88, 82. That is more than enough for me right now. I guess we're going full on historical here since we've gotten the Gibraltar for ourselves. And because we got Gibraltar, we can do the next mission here that gives permanent claims on the western Mediterranean islands, namely on Sardinia, Corsica, and the small tiny island of Menorca, or Mallorca, I guess. Now let's try and improve relations with the Castilians so we can get that royal marriage back. Also, look at this, guys. 17 mana points to develop provinces because of all these juicy modifiers that we managed to stack up, including prosperity and the golden era. So let's step this up a few times. I want to bring at least 20 to 25 development in every single province in the British Isles, since this is going to be my main power base for the pretty much duration of this playthrough. through. And because I don't want my troops to go rusty, I'm gonna continue my wars here. Next up is more of the cores that my beloved Burgundian vassal has in the lowlands. And, you know, basically all of these provinces are gonna be ours. And I just noticed Salzburg completely crushed all of the Bavarians here. I'm guessing Salzburg's gonna be the Bavarian minor that will form Bavaria, and that is really unexpected. What is expected is the Ottomans crushing the Austrians here, and Austria having 2 random provinces in Poland? What? We also can go with the next war against the French, going for our Korsky. I'm doing both of these wars at the same time because I want to spice things up, and right now I'm so ridiculously strong that these small insignificant blips on the map are not even going to pose any sort of a challenge. I'm also canceling all of the alliances that these small nations have, because this way it's very likely that their neighbors are going to be attacking them. Like was not getting attacked since they were allied to France, but now that they have no allies, very likely Württemberg and Augsburg are going to want a piece of Ulm. Previously, when the HRE was still around, the main deterrent was the HRE, but now the main deterrent for these small nations is their alliance sets. So without those alliance sets, they're just free for the taking, really. I guess you could call this a German buffet. I've also been improving relations with Friesland and Utrecht, and I now can diplo-vassalize Friesland. I will be able to diplo-vassalize Utrecht also later on. I just need 24 more relations before I can do that peaceful integration of these lands as well. This is one of the benefits of having a massive empire. Everybody wants to be your little Vasalski. And since we're not doing much with the rest of our armies, let's attack these boys as well in Brabant and take the rest of our cores. I bet the Pope's not really happy with what I'm doing here, but you know what? I really couldn't give less of a schnitzel. In fact, I plan on making my own church, Popio, okay? That's just foreshadowing right there. And I'm happy to see how big Savoy managed to grow, as well as Milan. You know what? Actually, why don't I try and make these boyos here an ally slash personal union a little bit later. Feels bliat that I cannot take all of the northern bits of France. Let's just go for the money. 156 Dukatenstein is pretty decent. And now let's, of course, concentratio all of this and make it full course. Justice of Peace, an event unique to the English here, is going to give us until the end of the game state maintenance -10, stability cost modifier -10, and 1 innovativeness. It does cost a little bit of ducats, but it's worth it, since in the long run it's going to make us a much stronger nation, and it's going to make our states a lot cheaper, since right now I pretty much have the protect trade edict in half of my country. I did not co-belligerate East Friesland, but I am going to be annexing it, since the province of East Frisia itself does have a huge amount of trade power in the English Channel node, 19 trade power right now, and this is going to increase after we do a few quick interactions with this province. And it is to be expected, we have started a small little bit of a coalition, mostly the Germanic nations upset with us, you know, killing off the Germanics around us. I guess they're going to be super unhappy once we take another 8 aggressive expansion from giving this stuff over to Burgundy. Oh, dude, you kidding me? They took 1 more province. That means... No, they're still willing to become my vassal. Okay, never mind. I was thinking that because they took 1 province, they would not like to be my vassal anymore, but I was wrong. And it would not be a Ludi video without the big peepee in the sky making its appearance. Clearly, it's an omen, boys. Also have to lower the autonomy a little bit. Quite a few provinces have gotten some autonomy from events and, you know, from the fact that I integrated stuff and so on. And we cannot allow this schnapps in our country, alright? Our country is an autonomy-free country, boys. Ah, dang it. Utrecht's attacking Brabant. That likely means they're gonna be too big for me to vassalize them. And I know I said that after they took Meppen, but let's see if that's the case now. Yep. 41-46. I would have to get a better economy compared to them to diplo-vassalize them now, which is actually not that hard to do. So that basically just put me back a few years, I guess. Hey, we got the Protestant Reformazione. Alright, that is a big deal. That means we're gonna get Anglican soon also. And I do think I will be switching over to Anglican. Not necessarily because it is the best religion out there, because let's face it, it is a unique flavor for the British Isles. So we might as well use it to our advantage, right? Van stability, you you say? Well, in that case, we will go for 2 Stabilitaten, aber unsere 3 Stabilitaten, boys. And we also got the creation of the London Stock Exchange, again, unique to the British, which gives us a massive amount of money, or we can just take less money and lose some inflation. I'm gonna go for the money. Screw that, bros. Inflation is a natural part of this game. You need to embrace it, my boys. You need to embrace it. And check it out, boys. We reached 66 ducats as profit, and that's just in 1504. This is when we start scaling up. In the next 20 years, we're gonna triple that income. All because we directly own the French lands and quite a little bit of the English Channel instead of having the French Union. When it comes to our flagship, obviously go for a light ship. You don't need a heavy ship in a single player campaign, in my opinion, and especially not as the English. Of course, we're going for the trade power per ship and fleet +1, fleet movement speed +1, which also helps with getting more trade actually, and the privateer efficiency, because nothing says privateering as well as the English Navy does it, at least not in the 1500s. Boy, we've been waiting for a Trastamara to succeed to the throne for quite a while now. I was unlucky and I got this guy, Tudor II here, or sorry, Thomas I, as an heir earlier, and I forgot to disinherit him. Otherwise, I would have the unions with Castile by now. But hey, I managed to get the royal marriage again. In fact, I think I might be able to get the alliance too. Let's see what's preventing me. Oh, trust. All right, that's an issue. Albeit, since I'm going for the personal union, probably not necessary to get the alliance. And we got a major revolt. Oh, of course. It's the Irish, boys. It's always the Irish, isn't it? Goddamn peasants! Y'all won your rights and stuff. Cannot take it, sir. I'm not sure if Riga is tactically staying smaller than 6 provinces to take advantage of their bonuses, but the fact that I only have 4 provinces here and they did enact the bonus is kind of cucking me over a little bit because they have a large amount of trade power in the Riga node or the Baltic node. I feel like the best play for me is to actually attack them. I get claims on Riga actually from this here, control the Hansa. After I take over the provinces of Lübeck and Bremen, I can also attack Riga, so I'm gonna add that to my short list of things to do since I am a massive trade conglomerate, let's face it, and this is what trade conglomerates do, right? They stomp out the competition. Alright boys, it's time to get some colonies now. We got settler chance plus 20% from our mission. That is a huge amount, just so you know. 20% settler chance makes a massive difference, means we're gonna colonize so fast now. God Schnippeldorp, Castile, why you have to have most of the Havanas now? Havanas? I meant the Caribbeans. Why did I call them Havanas? That's just strange. Still working on that Castilian PU plan. It's still there. And now I'm even more eager to get it. Oh my god, are you kidding me? 563? Dude. Oh, do I get this guy or do I just hold out for the Trastamara? I'm gonna get this guy. I'll get the next one's gonna be a Trastamara. Alright, boys? Looks like Verden is also killing off everyone around, including Bremen, which I'm kind of happy with since I want the city of Bremen for myself. If Verden has this, I can just do one big war to take this entire part of the German lands. And I was 100% right about all the OPMs, which alliances I cancelled. They're all gone now, and basically their neighbors got a little bit bigger, making my life a lot easier since there's less nations in a potential coalition against me also. Speaking of coalition, let's see how many nations still in that. Yep, it's okay, they're starting to leave. They're actually starting to leave. And even Austria left. Oh, I'm gonna be expanding again, boys. That's what this means. Wait, what? Portugal took a huge chunk out of the Guinea parts. They attacked Mali, didn't they, in order to take this? Damn. Looks like Mali's gone, though. Mostly just Songhai that I notice here. Excuse me, what? Denmark is going colonial too? Well, this is gonna make for some interesting new wars in the north of Europe then. I'll wait till they make the full colony, and then after they make their colony, I'm gonna steal it from them. Hey man, growing up in Romania, you learn a lot of good things in life, alright? Pretty sure this is the last war against the French. The problem is that Castile is actually helping them out. So Castile is really not happy with me being basically all of Western Europe except them. I wonder why. I mean, I don't understand it, guys. Do you think it's a problem? Don't you just love it when your best siege general dies right as you arrive on the destination here to siege this fortification? Luckily, we still have Kanonen, but I really wish I had that Chad Lord of a general to help out a bit more. Take note, guys, I don't even have economic ideas yet, and it's only 9 mana points to develop York. Like I said, 25 dev in every province for the time being. We're close to having a workshop in every single province of our country. Time to do our colonial expansion now too, since we're not going to be actually colonizing the New World. We're just going to be attacking the natives and taking their lands rather than waste time properly colonizing. And speaking of, I'm going to be taking Castile's colony also in Havana, ooh la la. Oh, they got Bermuda too. I'm going to take that too. Thank you very much. Take Maine directly. Is that going to fully annex them? It is! 106 progress on annexing our vassal because we took Maine, and that means we've integrated everything else. It does mean that we do not get a core on Maine, so we have to core it ourselves though. And it also means we can do now the Angevin Kingdom until the end of the game. Anjou gets 25 dev cost reduction and other goodies, as well as we get some extra permanent claims on lands that, well, we already have, so there's that going for us, right? That does mean we can also do Seize Burgundy, which offers extra goodies in those particular lands. A little bit irrelevant when we have them as a vassal, but hey, I'd rather get those modifiers than not get them, I guess. Honestly, I really hope that in the future I'm gonna see a rebalance for the missions that were released a while back, like the English mission tree, the French one, and so on. They pretty much are in desperate need of a rebalance. And the Church of the English found a new state religion. The Anglicanism is enabled. Evangelize the new church to the world, or we can call it blasphemy, and we don't become an Anglican nation. Of course, we're gonna evangelize it, which gives us a center of reformation in London, and it does help us with converting the rest of our country to Anglican now, since it's gonna be both us and the center of reformation that will be doing the converting. Let's go with the mission 2, control state religion, and let's start conversion, boys. Which one has the highest unity? Anjou. Let's start with Anjou then. The Church of England, or Anglicanism, offers a few interesting interactions here, like the ability to make the clergy lose crownlands. We can also marry basically infinite amount of consorts and get 100% chance for new heir, or we can divorce those consorts and get some goodies as consequence, get some flat amount of ducats and mercantilism, increase innovativeness and reform progress gain, and this is pretty much the main reason I went for Anglicanism, letting us get all of our reforms a lot faster. There's other stuff like increase opinions, get population in colonies, as well as increase settler chance and religious unity. To be fair, Anglicanism was made tailored to the British, so we made the right choice in choosing this religion. Ah, I love the smell of Spanish doublons. Reminds me of the fact that, you know, the English destroyed their famous armada, boys. Yep, that's right. We did it. We did it. Obviously not me directly, but, you know, historical English people. And we can do colonize the Caribbean, since we took the colonies from the Castilians. Oh boy, we did lose a lot of units in this war. Oh, what? I cannot concentratio? That means I got a lot of overextension, don't I now? Subjugate France, don't mind if I do. And we can form the British nation. I'm gonna hold out on that for a little bit. Don't want to do it just yet. Oh, look at that. Castile also formed Spain, I'm guessing. Yep. Look at that juicy flag there, and improved national ideas. Now we really need to chill, because we have a lot of nations in a coalition against us, and I feel that most of Central Europe is going to join in that coalition, since we took a lot of stuff also from the Castilians in the New World, and that kind of added up. Wow, Rothenburg is super massive here, as is Augsburg. Very unexpected what's happening in the HRE, and it is 100% a result of me dismantling the HRE in the previous video. Wait, what? Bavaria exists as a one-province minor. How? Seriously, how? And they have the same cores that Salzburg had. Oh, Salzburg formed Bavaria, and then they got killed over by the Austrians and friends. Okay, fair enough. And it looks like we have a new competitor in the European scene, as the Commonwealth was formed by the Poles inheriting Lithuania. I have a strong suspicion that the Ottomans are gonna crush them though, considering that the Ottomans are doing exceptionally well in this playthrough. Speaking of, let me send them a scornful insult to show them who's the boss here. In England, Ottoman is a word synonymous with manure, okay? In case you don't know what manure is the poop of the cattle. That's what it is. So I'm pretty sure Ottoman means couch in English, but hey, let's leave that aside. All right, we brought one of our main armies to the New World because it's time to conquer the New World and culturally convert all of the New World nations to our culture. That's what I'm trying to say here. Totally not something else. Thomas, I love you, my boy, but your air is considerably juicier. So, you know, I'm gonna make you go away. He willingly abdicated. I promise we didn't feed him to the pigs. I promise. I am gonna be making the colony of Cuba Libre a self-governing colony. This way, if I invest a little bit of money in them, they're gonna be quick and fast about getting more provinces for themselves. And yes, I did not take all the provinces from the Spanish West Indies. I only took 5, which is enough to make a colonial nation. And I took the 5 provinces that have the highest amount of trade power, meaning that despite having only 5 provinces, I have more trade power than the Castilians in this node. I'm also going to focus on getting Fuerte del Moro to level 3 because it gives me, the Overlord, 30% naval force limit, so it both benefits my colony as well as myself. It is a really great monument to upgrade as a colonial overlord. I feel like it is time now to switch on over to Great Britain, so let's click the British Nation button. Of course, you should go for the traditions and ambitions. The British tradition and ambitions, as well as the missions, are a little bit more focused on colonization, navy, and basically being Great Britain as it was historically. That's why we got governing capacity increase, diplo annexation cost reduction, settlers plus 20, tariffs, tech cost, discipline, goods produced plus 20, as well as marines plus 50%, boys. That is a massive amount of marines. And as well, a lot of naval bonuses. Plus, we get a few more missions here, like this one here that gives 1 extra diplo relations. Great Britain Ascendant gives until the end of the game prestige decay minus 2%, which is a huge amount, as well as imperial authority. Normally, you could get this either by dismantling or by becoming the HRE Emperor. We, of course, dismantled in our game. And we can also do colonization of Canada since we have our colonies there already. And, of course, the North Sea Islands that gives more claims on Greenland. And by forming Great Britain, all of the nations that were in a coalition have left the coalition, because when you do form a country, it basically resets a few parameters with your neighbors. We're also making good progress on converting our country to Anglicanism. Surprisingly, we don't have many provinces that got converted to Reformed or to Protestant, and that's good because there's a lot of Reformed and Protestant centers of reformations here. Oh wow, Iroquois has a sizable amount of troops here. Compared to most of the natives, this is like the biggest army I'm gonna be fighting here, and hopefully I'll be able to get 4 or 5 provinces so I can get 2 more colonial nations. Bruh, for real, even in the New World I'm getting 71% sieges. I mean, what is there even to siege here, man? They live in tents, man. Come on. I feel like I was a pretty lenient neighbor, wasn't I, guys? And even though I was so lenient, Liège kept joining in wars against me. That's honestly just the only reason why I basically killed them now, because they were the bad guys in this situation. Totally was not me the bad guy. And if you say something against what I just said, I'm gonna crush your nation and culturally convert you. God damn it. Okay, seriously, are we the baddies? Blasphemy, we're not the baddies, okay? We released Aachen. We made a nation happen, boys. Also, what the actual Schnippeldorp Trier? How did Trier get so massive? They had like 3 provinces up until a few years when I looked at them last. And it seems like we have a brand new colony. Hold up a second, what is Portuguese Brazil doing here? Are they trying to immigrate already? Oh, hell yeah, my boys. The Pachaca Confederation has a huge amount of land here. Look at all of this land they got. Oh my god. 2 wars and I'm gonna be able to get half of North America from them. Oh, check it out, boys. Franconia just formed. I believe it was Rothenburg that formed them because they were the only Franconian country that had a lot of provinces here. And Augsburg in the south is definitely trying to assert itself. Even though I noticed they're allied to the Austrians, I strongly believe if I manage to get myself an alliance with them, we might work together against the Austrians. And just overall, the German lands are being split between ever so bigger nations. So a few years have passed, we've integrated the Burgundians, and well, the world is a lot different than it was 20 years ago. We're making tons of money. We have 12,000 ducats and we don't even know what to do with it. I mean, literally, I built all the buildings I could build for the time being. But there are some issues that we have. First off, I've artificially inflated Spain by not attacking them and by sending them money to make sure that they grow in size guys, and they become a viable nemesis for the mid-game. That's why they got 105,000 units, 96 ships, and they are pretty much the second strongest nation in the game right now. Also want to point out that if you want to get 100% absolutism, you're gonna need to cancel a few privileges before the 1600, which is when we're gonna get absolutism. Personally, I don't care about it, because the only reason you want absolutism is if you plan on doing a world conquest. This run in particular is not going to be a world conquest. It's just going to be a run in which I'm going to get ridiculously rich, and in which I'm going to be showing you guys how you can get ridiculously rich. So keep that in mind, because I know a lot of people cancel their privileges without actually having the intention of doing a world conquest, and in the process simply losing out on a lot of amazing bonuses that privileges offer. And hold up a second, since when do I have Baden as a vassal? I completely forgot I diplo-vassalized Baden. Okay, well, you know what? In that case, the plan's gonna be, we're gonna feed Franconia North Germany and Baden South Germany, and we're gonna keep them as our little vassals in the central part of Europe. Let's call it a buffer state, shall we? The Great Battaglia aber unsere Utrechtien. This is, in case you didn't know, how the English people used to speak around this age. 100% historically accurate dialect of English. I'm sorry, what? My Maryland army got stack wiped? Oh, you schmelly Danes, I forgot you were in this war. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make everybody around here my religion, force religion first on Oldenburg, cancel some of their alliances. There you go. And that means we got one more nation to add to the great Anglican faith here. You know, the faith that was made by one person because he didn't agree with the Pope. That's the entirety of Anglicanism right there. He wanted to divorce more women than it was allowed, okay? Can a man just have a dream? Come on, boys, come on. Hey, finally we can also become an empire now. So we gained a cultural union over all of these cultures over here, namely American, Scottish, Cornish, and Welsh. But we all know that Cornish and Welsh never existed, really. It's an invention, a fiction, because maybe or maybe not somebody did something to it. We'll never know. We'll never find out. That's the reality here. Oh, we can do the British Empire. Even more mana points. Oh god, I'm over my limit with admin points. No! Okay, I'm gonna have to use admin points to develop. Gonna be a little bit of a waste here, but it has to be done. And with the click of a button, I'm gonna be able to get East America. Namely, I'm getting all of the colonies that the Danes have over here, and I'm giving them over to my colony, making my colony bigger, so that later on they can revolt against me because I'm asking for too high taxes, alright? I'm just foreseeing the future here. Except in this reality, we're gonna, you know, we're not gonna let them become an independent nation. Not on my watch, boys. Oh, we can do until the end of the game the 13 colonies, liberty, desire, and subjects minus 10%. That does help considering we're gonna keep on getting more and more subjects as we grow. You're lucky I'm in a good mood, Utrecht. I'm only taking 3 provinces, don't care about the rest of your country, so you might as well just expand in the entirety of Germany for all I give a snap. I also need more light ships so I can filter in more trade in my main trade node of the English Channel, so I'm going to be building 50 more light ships. Don't be scared. Even if you go over your naval force limit with light ships, they pay for themselves in the amount of extra trade power that you get when you assign them to specific trade nodes. I personally like to have about 50 light ships in every adjacent node that filters into the English Channel node. Well, at least in the 1570s I do. I increase that as my country grows in size. Can we get a clap in the chat for our new Vasalski Franconia? And let's go. Reconquest of Ansbach. Poland the Austrians. I mean, co-belligerate the Austrians. I could call in Commonwealth. I don't need to, but I will do it. And Venice, so they can fight against the 2 Sicilies and help out against the Austrians, I guess, on the other front. Should be an easy war. I've got way better troops than them. I have actually Tech 16 already. So I have the Mauritian infantry, which is way better than whatever Austria has, since they're still at military tech 13 by comparison, 3 techs behind us. I don't think anyone's up to military. Oh, sorry, I'm at 15, not 16. Is anybody else at 15? No, I think I am the first one to reach military tech 15, which, you know, means I'm the strongest nation in the world right now, boys. And my promise was fulfilled. I released Friesland and I integrated them a second time. Now we're even, all right? You know who you are. You know these people, man, they keep asking 1,000 times the same thing in the comment section, and sometimes I have to cave. I have to. Now, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to start asking in the comment section, Ludi, make this video or do this 1,000 times, all right? please. So we have admin tech 15 also, which means now we can build the soldiers' households. Soldiers' households, whenever you're building them in grain, livestock, fish, or wine provinces, you're gonna get double the amount of manpower. So check this out. We're getting 3,000 just from building this in livestock provinces and so on. That is a huge amount of manpower, boys, and it scales up so much more the more you develop those provinces. I haven't really developed much military development. I mostly focused on Diplo, so I got a good economy going. But once I start developing military, it's gonna scale up so much. You know, guys, I was actually playing a lot of Skyrim yesterday, and it really reminded me of when the game first came out. You know that feeling of when you're playing the game for the first time and the game has an amazing story and the ability to just free roam anywhere you want on the map. I kind of miss that with modern games. Aside from strategy games, which, you know, I pretty much play a lot of, the RPG games that I play, I feel like the newer ones that are coming out are not as great and as satisfying as the older ones. Curious what you guys think about that. And you know what? If you guys want me to do a Skyrim video, let me know also, since I would love to do a Skyrim video, show you guys my current save and the shenanigans I've been doing in that particular save. I don't think anyone would agree with half of what I'm doing there, and the ones that would agree, well, I don't know what's wrong with you, okay? But we're definitely on the same wavelength. Interesting to see that the enemy alliance is primarily focusing on the Commonwealth. I would have expected them to focus on the weaker ones, which in my case would be, oh, actually, Commonwealth is the only ally I have. Hold up a second, I'm sure I had some more allies here. Oh no, I have Venice too. Why are they not focusing on Venice? It seems like Venice is pretty siege free over here. Let's see what it looks like in the east part as well. Muscovy still has not formed Russia. I think they need a few cities, including, if I'm not wrong, Ryazan, which they don't have. The Commonwealth just simply said, yeah, sure, take everything here except Ryazan so we can massively cuck you boys. And then Kazan is still around, which is surprising too. Timurids seem to be massive on the map. You know what? I'm curious what's happening here. I might actually just steal some maps from this area. Let's do that now. I'm gonna steal maps from the Timurids themselves. And did you guys know that Trent was and always will be an Anglican nation? Were you aware of that? That sounded like the start of DJ mix. Did you know about Trent? I'll stop. That's cringe enough for a lifetime. Austria, you're in massive luck. I only want this from, oh no, you're not in luck. I also want humiliation because I want to get 100 PP. I've spoken too soon. It's time to carpet siege the Austrons. I do feel like by destroying Austria right now, it might pave the way for the Ottomans to keep on coming into Europe, which is something I'm not super comfortable with. So I might just release a vassal and feed them all of the Balkans also whilst I'm at it, right? Might as well. God schnappledoop Ludi, you said this is not gonna be a world conquest. What's going on here? It's not. I'm just taking a few provinces from Europe. That's it. Okay, that's it. I'm also using my money to build the stuff in my vassals' lands and subjects because I have nothing left to build in my own lands. Oh, weird flex, bro, but okay. See, me flexing about something like that, that's pretty much the reason why we don't really have many friends, isn't it? You know, us strategy gamers. I believe Austria has been thoroughly humiliated now, so they can give us everything we need, including the 3 provinces here, boys. One of the main reasons I gunned for these provinces, aside from the obvious fact that, you know, it's in the English Channel node, it's also because of this monument here, the Dutch polders. I cannot understate how important this monument is. 10% goods produced modifier is a massive boost to anyone's economy, and we're gonna try and upgrade this the sooner the better. It does mean that we have to accept Dutch as one of our accepted cultures. So we're gonna cancel the acceptance of the Irish culture and switch that over to Dutch because, well, I may or may not have been converting the Irish to my culture in the meanwhile. Oh, that is not bad, boys. Tangiers gives 0.48 ducats after I build a workshop there. So I kind of should start integrating Portugal, shouldn't I? And let's go with the main reason why we attacked Augsburg in the first place. Look at my beloved Franconia, boys. This also is kind of historical when you think about it, since the British did have a massive chunk of Germany, albeit it was Hanover in our timeline. This time it's Franconia. Same, but different. And it's also time to attack the Danes once more, so we can take Vinland from them. They've actually grown Vinland quite a bit, so I'm happy to see that, because it's definitely exactly what I needed for my Canadian colony here. It's funny how I only have 1 colonist, but despite that, I have the biggest colonial empire by simply taking everything everybody else's stuff. I truly am doing a historical game now that I really think about it. Britannia rules the waves. You have stuff we take and put in the museum. There's so many amazing government reforms for tier 8 because we can do expand administration cost minus 100%, meaning we can get a lot more governing capacity as it is from 2 treaties of government, but then we can also get liberty, desire, and subjects reduction, and we can also get heretic and heathen provinces do not give any more penalties. So that could probably be the best one out of all of them, since we do have some of those heretic and heathen provinces. But eventually we will convert everybody to Anglicanism, and that is why I'm going to be going for the expand administration cost plus reduce the parliament bribes by 50%. And you guys know I'm Romanian, so I'm definitely pro parliament bribes. The Balkan way. I'm just kidding. It's disgusting. That's why I left the Balkans. Hey, look at this, guys. We found some new land over here. I guess we can call this Newfoundland. I'm gonna be a great dad. You might have noticed also that I've taken 3 provinces. I've done that because these particular provinces here, namely Hamburg and Lübeck, have a huge amount of trade power in the Lübeck node, and the more trade power they have, the more trade power I get, and as consequence, the more that we trickle down into our main node of the English channel, which translates into a huge amount of money. And looks like this might be proof of me culturally converting some areas. Let's just pretend you didn't see nothing. Can we just edit that bit out over there, please? Oh, dude, I knew the Ottomans are gonna do this. Not cool, Ottomans. I hope they don't take too much land now. Oh, was? Newfoundland? More like there was nobody here when we came, I promise. That's a lot more accurate right there. Alright, now I can say that I have military tech 16, which is a big step because at military tech 16, you should have a full back row of artillery. Albeit with the newest meta, honestly, you should have a full back row as soon as you can afford it. But at tech 16 is when it's actually most efficient, since you get 1 extra artillery fire and artillery shock 0.10, and you even get better artillery units, the chambered demi cannons. Plus, we get the training fields, so that means we're gonna be boosting up the amount of manpower we get by a huge amount. Take note, Grand Monopoly from the Anglican religion gives you 1 mercantilism and 1,200 ducats. Well, the amount of ducats depends on your income, but the point is that whenever you reach 100 church power, you can increase your mercantilism by 1. So definitely Anglicanism is the best religion for the English, or for anyone who's trying to play tall. We managed to unlock our new policies, trade efficiency and production efficiency plus 10, as well as 1 extra merchant and trade power abroad, because we went for trade ideas as our 4th idea set. So now we have 8 available merchants, plus we're gonna get a lot more soon because I'm gonna be attacking Congo to make a trade company out of this region here. Let me actually do that right now. What is all of this? They still have other countries around? What? Oh, wow. Okay, they did not unify the Congo region. Well, I'm gonna be punishing you for not doing that. Hey, we got global trade as expected. It spawned in London for sure because we have the strongest node in the world. It does give us a little bit of each admin points, governance reform progress as well, and until the end of the game, local trade power in Bruges. Oh, okay, it spawned in Bruges, not in London. Fair enough. Let's see. We have 141 in the English channel right now, and it is gonna be getting a lot more since we started a few extra expansion routes. Plus, we're basically doing a few trade companies in the African parts to increase our trade power in the Ivory Coast. I've added all of the provinces that I took from Congo, and I only took the provinces in the Ivory Coast node, which is the only one I'm interested in for now. I'll continue to do the same thing around the world, make trade companies in Asia, make trade companies in other parts of Africa and the Arabian lands, and only directly own provinces in Western Europe, essentially. We've also unlocked universities, so we're going to be building universities in all of our provinces in Europe again, starting with the British Isles and then afterwards, of course, the French lands too. Universities give you minus 20% dev cost reduction, as well as they do not cost a building slot since they basically increase the possible number of buildings +1, similar how the courthouses work with the recent update. So courthouses, their upgraded version town hall, and universities you want to have built in every single province that you own. Same goes for workshop and counting house. You want to build these bad boys in every province you have and upgrade this to a counting house eventually. Marketplaces and their upgrades, you only want to build them in provinces where they offer a lot of extra trade power. No need to build them everywhere. So that's usually provinces that have a center of trade or some sort of trade power modifier by default. Barracks and training fields, again in every province. Manufactories you want to build in every province with the exception of provinces that have grain, fish, livestock, or wine, because there you want to build a soldier's household, and that pretty much explains everything you need to know about building in essence. Shipyard, if you need extra naval force limit you can build, but in single player I personally don't think it's necessary. Same goes for regimental camp. You can build it if you want, but in single player definitely not necessary. Upgrade your forts, of course, always whenever you can. Coastal defenses are great if you're a naval power and you don't want to get raided by pirates. Other than that, not really necessary either for single player. And then when it comes to our trade company buildings, make sure you invest a little bit in trade companies too. Trade steering is probably my favorite building to upgrade here, since you will be using, especially in the Ivory Coast, we will be using our trade steering, since we're steering all of this trade away from this node into the English Channel node. Meanwhile, the Castilians are trying to get some of this trade in the Sevilla node. They are actually getting through some, so we're gonna have to fight them and make sure that we block their influence on the Ivory Coast. Yeah, that's actually mostly Portugal, which I started integrating, so it's not gonna be an issue anymore after I finish the integration. There's other buildings for your trade companies, like the township that offers yearly army tradition for the entire country, naval force limit from the Admiralty, and land force limit from the officers mess. And we also have the Governor General's mansion that offers a decrease in local autonomy and some flat manpower and sailors. All of these are great, but like I said, since you have to choose one, I would personally choose the trade steering to steer more in your main trade node. And of course, the other buildings that you can build, and they're not locked to one building per state, well, in that case, just build all of them. Hey, look at that. The Commonwealth just declared on Austria. Let's honor our alliance and kick some Austrian butts. Oh, hello there. Spain actually attacked my subject of Portugal. Spain. You made a massive mistake. That definitely is a lot of juicy colonial nations that the Spanish have right there. This really feels like a world war. I mean, we have half of North and South America fighting the other half of North and South America. We got skirmishes all around the world, Africa, Europe. I'm really enjoying this, man. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I am. And yes, I did make a white peace with the Austrians so I can focus on this war. Oh boys, check this mission out. Renovate Oxford Bridge gives us 4.5 innovativeness, as well as we get the Oxford Symphony happen in one day, which offers 0.5 legitimacy. So overall, if you want to get to 100 innovativeness, this event really helps out so much. Now we definitely have 100 innovativeness, which means we get all power cost minus 10% and army tradition decay as well as navy tradition decay minus 1%. So now not only is it cheaper to develop everything and cheaper to just take up and get ideas and all that schnapps, but we did it without having to take innovativeness ideas. Just so you guys know, I do get some pretty nasty RNG. I got a 014 air. Oh no! He just fell out the window. Oh, this is horrible. He would have been the future king. So anyway, we're now carpet sieging Spain to get the war score that we need. Well, what do you know? We got pirates in the Caribbean, and we get two choice. We can either play as the pirates or we can just let them be, and we're gonna be killing them off basically, because they have the city of Tortuga, which is a core of our subject, and it also has the monument that does give some significant bonuses. This actually got downgraded, or was it level 1? I don't remember, to be fair. Let's get our diplomat back so we can attack him in that case. I would love to keep these guys around for RP purposes, but realistically speaking, because I own the Caribbean, like my subjects own all of the Caribbean right now, it's only hurting my economy from letting them survive here. I actually really like the map color that they have. That's like one of the most unique shade of gray I've ever seen. Trier seriously committed the weirdest border gore imaginable. They even took land from my beloved Brandenburg, which I'm obviously not cool with. But I'm not giving stuff back to Brandenburg in this war. I want to take stuff for myself because I want to get a bigger chunk of the Rhineland node to basically transfer even more of this stuff into my node afterwards via the Champagne node. I have an issue here because 25 ducats are filtering into Genoa. We want to prevent that from happening, so we're gonna have to declare war on the Savoyans and take this chunk of the Champagne node for ourselves. This seems pretty fair over here. Let's go with this deal. You might think that this is border gore, but this is actually exactly what the British Empire looked like in 1625. We also went over our overextension, so we're gonna give some of these provinces over to Franconia. I'm gonna give the south tip to Franconia, Heidelberg, and Stuttgart because it is low trade power compared to Frankfurt and Mainz, both of which give a ton of trade power that I want to keep. And hey, on the bright side, we now have a continuous connection to our vassals' lands. I'm also filthy rich, so I'm just gonna spend a lot of money to fully upgrade the monuments. There you go. We got Notre Dame and Versailles, both at level 3, and I'm pretty sure all the other monuments too. How many more monuments do I need to get the achievement? That would be 8 monuments, and we only have 4 right now. Really? Let me check my monument map mode. I think I need to get some more monuments in that case. All right, so we have these 2. What about this one? Oh, I didn't finish this one. I was always under the impression this one's done already. Oh my god, I've been missing out on so much goods produced modifier. Okay, now we have 5, so we're gonna get another one once we integrate Portugal, because this should be on its way to level 5 as well. Oh, sorry, level 3 as well. There you go. It is level 3 now. And where else can we get a couple more? Maybe we can get the one from Nope. Yeah, I think we should declare a war on Nope. It's also pretty awesome to see that we have basically 100% of our crown lands, which means that we're getting... Actually, no, it's not 100%. We need 2 more to get 100%. So let's dev up a little bit more. There you go. Let's get this a couple more times up. 100% crown lands, which means that we are getting minus 0.05 autonomy per month, absolutism +1 yearly, as well as max absolutism +15, and reform progress growth +100, guys. Because of that, we have no issues with our governing capacity, since we can just use all the reform progress to increase this, and it's not as expensive as it used to be. Obviously, we also want to keep it around to do a few changes from reforms, as well as get the last tier reform, where we can choose to either get admin efficiency and absolutism, free policies +1, or monarch skill, and so on. I'm probably going to go for the free policies since I'm not doing a world conquest, and I am using 2 policies for each category, which means I am wasting 1 mana for diplo and for admin right now to maintain these 2 policies. So even though we have level 5 advisors, and look how cheap they are, by the way, at level 5, and we're getting a ton of mana points from that, we still are losing this -1 for each of these categories. I'm not really super happy about that, obviously. The cheapo in me really wants to min-max the amount of money that I'm getting. Speaking of, we're getting 209 ducats, which translates into 369 profit for us in the English channel alone. So there you go, 375 with a little bit collected from Genoa. That's just a meme. I just send this for no reason here. I'm gonna put them back, and I'm gonna send them after I take over the Italian peninsula. I absolutely love the Anglican religion after playing this campaign. Like, it's really underrated because it gives you crownlands, it gives you a lot of money, mercantilism, stability, so many amazing modifiers that are super situational, but as the English, it's situations that you will encounter in your campaign. We also have a little bit of a coalition here. Basically, most of Eastern and Central Europe is not happy with our little adventures in the German lands, but that's okay. They should be more worried about the Ottomans pretty much controlling all of the Balkans now, and a huge amount of Austria. All of the main Austrian state is Ottoman land now, boys. We likely will help them liberate that later on once we attack the Ottomans. Once the Spanish leave that coalition, I'm gonna attack them so I can get the islands for my next mission. Need all of the Mediterranean islands, essentially. Well, with the colonization of Greenland, we got Secure the North, which adds a little bit of development here, and they receive a proper British name. What does that even mean, though? A proper British name. Come on. Oh, I see what's happening. It's a New Burnley. That's pretty British, actually. I just realized there's ivory produced here. I guess that's from all of those special Greenland elephants, isn't it? I'm just kidding. I know it's from walruses. Walruses have ivory. Just trying to point out that, you know, I know the meme. Whilst we're waiting for certain colonies to finish, we can also attack these boys over here and take more lands. This way we can create a new colonial nation in the Louisiana area as well. We're doing another cheeky war in the Australian lands at the same time, so we get our Australian colony for another mission required for Anglophile. Most of the missions honestly revolve around establishing a proper colonial empire and just being as British as we possibly can. Oh, okay, most of these provinces actually were given to my United Tobacco Plantation colony, so we're gonna have to attack Publica in order to establish the Louisiana colony. And now I know what you're thinking, Ludi, you have such great pronunciation of words. I know, it's just, it comes naturally to me. Finally colonized Bengugadoo, so we can do the colonized Spice Islands mission, which means we now got more claims on Bengal. And Bengal is a big boy, so it's gonna be a bit of a challenge. Glad to see that, finally a challenge. Truly the easiest way of solving issues with natives rebelling is to just kill them off. This way they cannot rebel if they don't exist. Just make sure you hide the evidence afterwards. We don't want anyone asking questions later and stuff. The gunpowder plot. Apparently some dude called Gay Fox and his friend Robert Catsby decided to blow up the parliament. We're gonna just punish all Catholics as consequence, whether they took part or not. That's just how we do things here in the United Klingon. I also just realized that in order to do the industrial evolution mission, we just gotta dev this up a few more times here. Let's go up to 25. And Booyashaka, we just got the industrial evolution. Scrollius Downius Maximus. That is one out of the way. I'm guessing we can also do Wonder. Get 8 monuments at tier 3. We just got to get 3 more monuments and upgrade. Totally not an issue considering we have 60,000 ducats and I don't even know what to do with that much money. I've built everything as it is. We managed to get 1 more monument, the city of Kami over here from Zimbabwe. Well, from Kilwa. So that means we just need, I think, 1 or 2 more monuments afterwards. I didn't think about it initially, but I got so much money I can just push these monuments so I get this upgraded instantly, essentially. There you go. Wasn't even that expensive. What was that, like 10,000 extra or something? Hold on a second. Spain attacked my subject Portugal again. You guys need to stop this, Spain. I'm gonna crush you again. You know that, right? All right, let's see who's in this. Is it just Spain and the colonies, or did they bring any friends? No, it's just Spain and the colonies. That's gonna make it super easy then. Let's bring our massive armadas into the south, and by armadas I'm talking about my armies here, making a cheeky reference to the Spanish armadas. You know, mixing in with Armata. Just whatever. Just pay attention to the video. Come on. The problem is I don't have any units in the New World right now because I send most of my troops to Asia to conquer Bengal and all that snap. So let's see what I'm going to do with the New World. Might have to recruit some new fresh units there. 153. Well, I think I know a good window to place this child next to. Oh no. Their allies did join. Are you shitting me? Oh man, now I have to fight the Italians too. Alright, in that case, let's focus on the Italians. Peace them out of this war quickly then. And we just finished integrating Portugal, so that means we got all of their colonies as our colonies, massively increasing our country size as consequence. This is turning into one of the most bloodiest wars I've seen so far. We actually went up to 300,000 losses on our side, 200 on their side. They're playing pretty well, and I'm getting a lot of attrition from all of the colonial battles, especially the battles in inhospitable lands like Australia here. And for some reason, they colonized most of Australia when I wasn't even looking. How did this even happen? No idea. But you know what? I'm gonna make it my goal in this war to take Australia from them. I'm also gonna culturally convert all of the newly conquered Portuguese lands. Look at this. It only cost me 3 mana points to convert this because we got the same religion overseas, assimilation policy, and innovativeness. So obviously this works with overseas colonies, not so much with colonies on the European continent. I'm getting the feeling that by occupying all of Spain, I'm not actually getting the war score that I want. So I'm probably gonna have to invade some of their colonies in the New World. We do need to land on Corsica so we can take the fortification over in Sassari, since we want to take all of the western Mediterranean islands. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a change of plans because taking the islands in the Mediterranean is a lot more expensive than taking half of the colonies that they have. So because of that, I'm gonna prioritize the colonies, and I'm gonna take all Australia, the Asian parts they have, and only a couple of the islands in the Mediterranean by comparison. I also love the fact that they do not give a single schnapps about me taking so much of Central America, but they would care more about me taking Little Majorca, which I did, by the way. I did take Majorca at least. So we got these islands. We got Corsica for easier access into Sardinia in the next war. We got most of their colonies in Asia, including a huge chunk of Australia. We let them keep the inside of Australia for now. As long as I got the coastline, I am a-okay with it. And we took a lot of their islands in Indonesia as well. They still have this massive area here, this chunk of Tidor or Timor, but we'll get that later. Let's go ahead and do our next mission now, which is charter the Southern Sea, because we did take the Australian lands. And all we got to do with the Spanish now is wait until 1666, a year that shall live in infamy, because it's going to be the year in which the Spanish Empire collapses. And now, because we are on the point of colonies, we're going to be attacking Denmark so we can take their colonies too. They got a lot of stuff in the New World, like they got Vinland, they have Louisiana lands. And I want to take all of that. I'm also going to promise the Commonwealth things, but I'm not really going to deliver anything. I'm just calling in the Commonwealth on my side because I plan on attacking Verden for Bremen, which is allied to the Commonwealth. So this way, the Commonwealth does not help Bremen, and I can just kill two birds with one stone, essentially. Oh, hey, now we can see the entirety of the map, or most of the map anyway. Looks like Ming is pretty huge. Super surprised that they didn't collapse early on. Even more surprised by what's happening here. Oh my god, Japan formed but got half of its country annexed. Timurid's still alive. That is also shocking. And of course, the Ottomans are a massive blob. Same goes for the Russians, which formed a little bit later in our campaign at least. Bruh, are you shitting me? 85%? Seriously? Can I actually get, you know, a siege in which I don't go up to freaking 85% for it to fall? I'm not gonna break up Trier, because at the end of the day, I want to have fewer and bigger German countries rather than multiple smaller ones, which are really annoying. I am, however, gonna give some stuff back to Brandenburg. Totally not because I am a massive Brandenburger-boo. Actually, I'll just do that. 3 provinces is enough for the Brandenburgians. It's costing me Diplo points. I love Brandenburg, but you know, there's got to be a limit of Diplo points for that love as well. And speaking of, I probably could get an alliance with Brandenburg afterwards, couldn't I? Especially because I returned their provinces. I got 120 extra relations with them now. Amazing. Why does the Commonwealth own Rupin? What? This is disgusting. Oh, we gotta fix that, man. All right, let's get Bremen for ourselves now. Get all the money we need to get as well. And war reps, transfer trade power. Transfer trade power is preferred. Let's go for that. Means that we can do the Control the Hansa mission now, giving us permanent claims on Danzig and Riga. So next target is going to be Danzig and Riga from our ally, the Commonwealth, for that particular part of the mission tree at least. I literally can take all of their colonies, and it's only 42 aggressive expansion and not even 54% of the war score. That is beautiful. Let's see what we can take from their lands as well. I want to take Stade, so I have a connection between my Hamburg and my Bremen free cities here. And I'm also taking Gotland because it's a good trade province over here, as well as Bornholm because I want to take all the islands in because I'm a greedy bastard as well. That's also a reason why. Let's go for this peace deal. A Meschling. Now, we don't need to worry about Europe for a while, since we only need those 2 provinces in the north. I guess what I could do is focus on India for the next bit, so the next 30 to 40 years, and then come back to these areas later on, once my truce is also over with the Spaniards and so on. Oh, we got a monument from Visby too. That's great. That means we can finally do that extra achievement. This means we can get British Mexico established now. Make them a crown colony, sure, and let's give them a proper British name. The East Indies. Get it? Because the East Indies, but Hindis, because of the Indians in our country. Shut up. And of course, we also got Australia, or as we like to call it in England, the Federal Correction Center. Oh, hey, I forgot about this island here. South Georgia. Honestly, did not even remember this exists. Time to also start some wars in the colonies. I'm basically gonna ask my Brazilian and my bigger colonial nations to attack other colonial nations. Take note, when this happens, it's only the colonies fighting each other, so I don't have anything, you know, I can do with it. One more colony? Yes, sir. This is, of course, the famous Love Your Cousin land. There you go. That's what this place is called. And that was number 8. We now have 2 achievements in this run and 1 more that we have our eyes on, since we just upgraded the city of Visby to maximum possible upgrade here. Let me also make this a full state because I haven't done that yet. That means I can also upgrade this to a level 2 center of trade. Province of Minorca defected to Spain. I didn't even see him rebel. Oh no, I have failed the Minorcans. It happens to the best of us, guys. It happens to the best of us. Didn't even realize because I had rebels over here, honestly. We're also using the old secret technique that the British had of chartering companies in India to get a foothold from which we attack them afterwards. I know, it's just massive brain, isn't it? Bruh, we can even charter from Bengal. Oh my god, this is insane. My biggest issue was, how am I gonna be able to get a foothold in Bengal when the time comes? But there you go, we got our foothold for almost no money. It's like nothing to us, 16k. I also just got town halls, so I'm upgrading all of my courthouses to town halls. The benefit of this is not only does it lower the province governing costs, but it also lowers the state maintenance and lowers the autonomy passively. So it's just insane to have this in every province. One of my favorite buildings overall. Dude, no freaking way I can actually take Bangkok from them for just 10k. Oh my god, come on. Really? You're giving me the Grand Palace of Bangkok for free, basically. This is one of the best monuments, by the way, because you get 15% governing capacity modifier, absolutism, aggressive expansion impact reduction, and vassal force limit contribution. So it's just overall an amazing monument to get, and the sooner you get it, the better, really. Cannot believe I got this without even having to go to war. That's just insane. We've also been working our way towards diplo-vassalizing Savoy. With this, we now have a ton of cores in the northern bits of Italy that we can take from Milan in the future. And it's time for round, I don't even know how manyth. There's been a lot of rounds against the Spaniards. I really hate the Venetians. Right now, the Venetians are stronger than the Castilians are. They got more troops despite only having a few provinces in northern Italy. And they almost have a fort in every single province. They're so freaking annoying. What do the people living in these lands feel like, considering that every 15 years the English are occupying them and taking all of their schnapps? I mean, is it a good feeling? I highly doubt that. They should just become a part of me, and this is all gonna be over sooner, you know? Sooner rather than later. Time to sit on them for a little bit longer now, so we get that war score up. And whilst we're sitting on them, we're gonna try and get more war score from the colonies, continue to get the capital of their colonial nations. Yep, this is a huge one right here. We're basically connecting all of our lands in South America with a continuous straight line between the Mexican holdings and the Brazilian holdings, massively improving our colonial nation's situation with it. And we also got our mission enacted, increase our reach, getting claims on other islands in the Mediterranean as well as the Delta, which will be one of our primary targets up next. Hey, look at that, Somalia just formed. I think it was formed by Adal, right? Holy shit, the Panama Canal cost me 30,000 to build. That's insane, dude. And there's no option to actually speed this up, is there? No, I can only start it, no option of increasing the speed. That sucks. So it's gonna finish in 9 years from now, and that's gonna allow us to go between the Atlantic Ocean over into the Pacific Ocean a lot faster now. We don't have to go around the entirety of South America. This war here might seem like a little bit of a problem for us because we're fighting Bengal, Ming, pretty much half of Asia right here. But not to fear, we'll be fine. We got way better troops than they have, and we're gonna absolutely crush them. If we need to, we can bring in more troops as well. Not the end of the world. Reality is that in the late game, Western troops are considerably better than Asian troops or any other troops for that matter. Look at this here. We literally stack wiped the entirety of their rear army. Even though they had close to the amount of units that we had, our troops are just simply way better than theirs. Let me illustrate that again with this battle here. It's not going to be a stack wipe because we didn't get amazing dice rolls, but still, we completely rushed them. Holy schnitzel, dude. Like, every single engagement is turning into a stack wipe again. Let's see, can we do the same to these boys? Let me wait for them to actually get into this province. This way, it's a defensive battle for me because this is my fortification. And let's see what happens now with a little bit of luck. And if they don't get reinforced, we will stack wipe. But if they get reinforced, we might just win the battle, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, they did get reinforced. So there you go. We did win the battle. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Spain, it's time for yet another friendship discussion. That's what we're calling this now. We're calling it a friendship discussion. That's what this totally is, all right? Now, before we do start this friendship discussion with the Spaniards, I've been working a little bit on fixing my armies and my navies. Essentially, I've been upgrading them to the latest unit, the heavy frigate, and I'm trying to get 150 in each of these, so I'm keeping them in harbor until I do get that 150. For some of these, I'm actually going for 100 because I don't want to go too much over my naval force limit. I'm already like a lot over it. I did just realize though I have way too many transport ships. I got 100 transport ships queued up. You know what? I can change. I deleted 30 of that, so let's go with the 150 for the heavy frigates instead. This way we make more use of our units. 2 transport fleets is more more than enough in my opinion. Now, the big wars that we need to do up next are going to be the Ottoman War, because we need to take the Egyptian lands, and of course, one last war against the Spaniards so we can take the islands that they have. And I just noticed something really funny. Look at this, guys. Cyprus is still a vassal of the Mamelukes. They've been a vassal of the Mamelukes since the start of this freaking campaign, man. And not only that, but the Mamelukes literally only have these 5 provinces in the south. That doesn't even make sense to me. Oh, hold on a second. I just realized something. I could vassalize the Mamelukes and then I can feed them back. Oh my god. Yes, sir. Oh, snaps. I want to do that right now. Hells to the yeah. But in order to get to them, I need to either attack Somalia or the Ottomans first. I guess I'm going to attack the Ottomans and their Tunisian allies because Tunis somehow managed to get all of this. The Ottomans also got a foothold in Italy, so I'll do this war and then take enough land so I can actually access the Mamluks and vassalize them from that war. I've also pretty much secured my Indian holdings, and I've got 4 armies sitting there ready for the next war when the truce is over. We're basically trying to multitask now. In the New World also, we've been centralizing a lot more. We killed off most of the natives. Well, we kind of split them with the Spaniards because New Spain also took a massive chunk of the natives. So there's that, I guess. Pretty historical, I'd say, you know, like the borders here between New Spain or the Spanish colonial holdings and the English colonial holdings around the 1680s, I guess, right? There would have been some French ones too in 1680 still, but yeah, this is the alternate, the better historical timeline, let's call it. I've also been really using the start war and colony interaction where I get my own colonies to attack other colonies and other natives or whatever they have claims on, right? So now I'm asking my United Tobacco Plantation. Oh my god, I love the uniform, actually. That's so cool. So anyway, I'm asking them to attack Florida, so this way I can have 2 wars with the same side. So my colonies are fighting against their colonies and I'm fighting against Spain in a separate war, so we can basically eat most of the New World and I get my islands in the Old World, and basically everybody wins without having to waste too much time. Also, guys, if you ever have too many Diplo points, you can do something that's called Diplo banking, where you start culturally converting a province, like say we convert Valois to English, and then this way your points will get refunded if you cancel it before it reaches 100%. So you can essentially save up infinite amounts of Diplo points by just culturally converting, canceling that, and then redoing it later. So it basically keeps it in a culture conversion bank, let's call it. This is extremely useful, especially if you're doing like a one faith, one culture, where you don't want to pay too much to culturally convert provinces. You start it and then you cancel and you do it again when it's a lot cheaper because of the different modifiers later down the line in your particular campaigns. Look at my boys crushing over Florida. Hopefully they're gonna go for the full annexation, obviously. That would be the best choice here. I don't need to, but I am gonna call in the Commonwealth in this war. So I basically repeat the same thing that I did last time, which is I'm gonna attack some allies of the Commonwealth whilst the Commonwealth is in my war, so I don't need to stress about having to fight the Commonwealth. It is the ultimate cheese in the EU4 book. We all know it, but hey, it works, so whatever, right? Let's also do a quick war with Milan and Venice, since we actually want to do that Reconquest of Course war against Milan, which I've been putting off for a little bit since I've had a lot of wars in Asia and quite a lot of small wars in the New World against the little natives. Not hard wars, but just a lot of them. Annoying, I guess, would be the word I'm looking for. Something that's less annoying though is managing your country's buildings, which I really enjoy, obviously. And for that matter, let's finish off building the rest of the courthouses here, the town halls, because we had a few that we didn't build before. I also highly recommend you guys check out my playing toll guide. It really explains in depth how you should be building your buildings, how to properly take advantage of mana, how to use mana, how to distribute it, how to make it cheaper to develop provinces. It talks about everything, and one of the bits that it talks about is the building part, because it is a part of playing toll, of course. And even though I've sprinkled a little bit of information in this video and other videos, that particular guide tells you exactly what you need to look for. I'll try and link it in the description below. Now, I do have a little bit of a shortage of manpower, only 700,000. It's really not that much, but that's also because I have not really been min-maxing this campaign. I've just been chilling and playing and just having fun, really. That's also why I haven't claimed the economic hegemony. You know what? Screw it, man. I am going to claim it now. Why not? I want to get the goods produced modifier, development cost modifier reduction as well, and the governing capacity. Why the schnapps not? Look at that. Oderint dum metuan. Actually, I could use the Commonwealth against the Ottomans in the next war. That would really be the play there. Wait, Russia's allied to the Ottomans? What? Why are they allied to the Ottomans, man? Holy mother of God. They're supposed to be mortal enemies and they're like bestest of friends. Of course, Austria also joins in a coalition against me rather than, you know, the freaking people that have taken half of their country. I mean, seriously, Ottomans quite literally took half of their country. They got 3 provinces left here. There's more Austria and Switzerland than there is in actual Austria. You know, I do like the Polish uniforms also. God damn, I never noticed that Poland's got such an epic sprite for the late game. Like, seriously, these guys bring on the drip, don't they? And yes, I know it's a little bit ironic that Poland, one of the most intensely Catholic nations in the world, is sieging down Rome. Just don't think about that too much. They'll make up for it when they help me take on the Ottomans, so it's all Gucci, okay? And it looks like Russia and the Ottomans just shared a massive chunk of the Timurids. They literally cut them down in size to... Oh my god, they took half of the freaking Timurid lands? What? Oh, no, you don't, Spain. Oh, no. Oh, they do. They really do. Holy mother of God. What is going on here? What is that morale they got there? Oh, they got papal blessing. Oh, and they got military drill. They've been waiting for this, haven't they? Need to bring the rest of my armies in there, don't I? Oh, hold up a second, because Mr. Poland is here, and they are absolutely kicking some Spanish bottoms. Let's bring our boys back into the fight in that case. Come on, kill them Sponards. Oh, wow. We did destroy their army, but we did lose a lot more troops than they did. Not sure I'm happy about that. Let's make up for that with sieging down the rest of their country and making sure that they have lost all of their colonies after this war. And I really mean it this time, okay? I'm gonna make their economy so trash that their colonies are gonna want to rebel right after this. Seems like we're out of land to colonize too, so I'm gonna be colonizing the eastern Siberian land, basically cucking over the Russians from reaching the coastline here. One thing that you could do whenever you run out of lands to colonize is go to one of your lowest development provinces and like one of the worst terrains to develop it also, and just send your colonists there to promote growth. This means that you will passively be gaining development in that province at a certain percentage based on the development that the province already has. So the lower the development, the higher the chance that you're actually going to get an extra development point per year. Their snowballing is real and stein, my boys. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the money, man. Seriously, I really don't know what the actual schnapps to do with this. I guess just build more stuff. Oh, I haven't built the trade company stuff. I can do that, I guess. Cathedrals, bruh. This is so not worth it. This is the worst building in the game, in my opinion. Churches and cathedrals, they still need to get massively buffed. Maybe instead of percentage, they can give a flat amount of tax instead. I guess like 2 tax. That would be really good for the cathedral. Oh yeah, you know what? We can also build some conscription centers since we do have a lot of troops and we still want to recruit more armies, right? Oh, wait, what? Empress Consort? Oh, that gave me the achievement! I got a new achievement, boys! I got the Spice Girls because I'm the leading producer of cloves, spices, salt, and sugar, and my leader is a female because I got the Regency Council. My heir is a male, but my female, Elizabeth Hyde, is a female. Completely random, but very cool. And my biggest issue is that the bigger my colonies grow, the more disloyal they're gonna be. So I have to either pay off debt or placate a ruler or decrease the tariffs also works, I guess. It's tough though, because I'm not getting much money from them anyway. I don't really see the point of having colonies really. In this game, 90% of the times it's just better to move your capital to the New World and just directly own the land than just have colonies, in my opinion. Just because of the extra merchants. I have enough merchants. I don't even know what to do with them anymore. I've assigned them pretty much everywhere I need to assign them as it is right now. Once more, I'm going to be navigating the intricate alliance systems of EU4 in order to maximize the amount of profit that I can make out of these wars. So what I mean by that exactly is I'm going to be attacking Morocco with the imperialism CB. I am not co-belligerating Ottomans, but they will be joining in the war because they're allied to the Moroccans. And then 1 month later, I can attack Tunis with the imperialism CB. And again, Ottomans will not be in the Tunisian war because they are already in my Moroccan war, and I can use the first war against the Ottomans to cancel their alliance with the Russians by just getting a little bit of war score. I only need like 10% war score to cancel that particular alliance, so just siege down Vienna and a few other parts. This way it's a lot more manageable taking out the Ottomans in the next war against them when I don't need to worry about the Russian front also. Or alternatively, what I could have also done is I could have called in the Commonwealth and given the Russians Commonwealth land in order to take them out of the war. actually, the Commonwealth is willing to join me even now. So, yeah, sure. There you go. We brought them into the war, I guess. Together against the Vile Ottoman Horde, eh? Oh, wow. The Ottomans have 500,000 soldiers. And I'm kind of worried because I don't know where they are right now. And I have a suspicion there's like 400 of them sitting around here somewhere waiting to attack my 3 small armies. I probably should have brought more units here, but I got a massive contingent of my units also in the Indian lands because I plan on attacking India once more to get the 2 missions I need. I think I need this area and, if I'm not mistaken, the northern bits, and that's pretty much it. All right, gotta bring these guys back over to the Indian lands as well for that war, since we're gonna start that soon also. And I think a few of my generals actually died, so I need to recruit more generals. 1, 2, 3, so we assign these guys to the Indian detachments. There you go, 1 over here. Let's recruit more units too. Let's go up to 30 for each Indian army and 20 artillery minimum. I'm not getting more than this for each army because India's not that tough to handle. Their units are absolutely paper units compared to mine, and I've easily stack wiped every single army that fought my armies, even though I was outnumbered by a ton. After a mere 300 days, Fez has also fallen. Let's continue our escapade in these lands. Actually, no, I'm gonna focus on Tunis. So I gotta siege Tlemcen first because I need to take Tunis out of the war before I peace out Morocco and the Ottomans. And I just got access to the counting house. This is going to skyrocket my economy. Check it out, boys. In London alone, building the counting house is gonna give me 2 flat ducats. That is freaking insane, dude. Like, by building the counting house in every single province I have, I'm gonna get an extra 500 ducats just from this one building per month. That is ridiculous. Probably more than that if I develop those provinces too. Hot damn, Poland strikes again. They just got Constantinople. I'm so happy with this. I might even give this province to them in the war deal if they want it. Tunis also thought that they can just sneakily march their troops into the south of France, but boy were they freaking wrong. Imagine these dudes actually still had level 1 fort in their capital in the freaking 1700s almost. I mean, come on, Tunis, you need to up your game here, alright? Meltius Maximus Trupius Bengalius. Yay, go Commonwealth. You guys see them stack wipe that Ottoman army? They're like my favorite Commonwealth right now. Better than that Lithuanian Polish one that people talk about nowadays. Honestly, I have to say one of the most underrated missions in EU4 is the take North India that the British have, because check this out, guys. Until the end of the game, we get tolerance of heathens +2 and 25% national manpower modifier. If you really want to min-max, and clearly I have not been min-maxing in this campaign, you could do this as another country that forms the British and just takes advantage of this permanent modifier. You can mix it in with other manpower modifiers from, say, Byzantium and other countries like that, and it can really absolutely snowball the amount of manpower that you get. Plus, you get a permanent claim on the entirety of India, so it's gonna make it super easy to conquer the rest of this, whatever is left here. Oh, we got quite a little bit actually, because I've only been focusing on the provinces that I needed for my missions. I didn't conquer the entirety of India. There's still a pretty huge swathe of India to conquer up next. Oh, hold on a second. I got another achievement, global hegemony. Oh, I didn't know you get an achievement from becoming a hegemony. That's pretty cool. So we got 100% economic hegemony, which means we got war exhaustion reduction, manpower for mercenaries, goods produced, dev cost reduction, governing capacity. I really feel like the economic hegemon is the best out of the 3 of them. Of course, for multiplayer, that's different. For multiplayer, it's probably the naval one because of the artillery damage from back row, which is huge, by the way. Way better than the other ones when it comes to combat. Alright, boys, the big moment is here. We finally managed to build our furnaces in the coal-producing provinces. We'll look at the map here. That would be Derby, Chester, Northumberland, and Ayrshire. In the UK itself, furnaces, by the way, give a flat goods produced modifier for the whole country plus 5%. So right now, considering we have a ton of furnaces, we're getting, if we look over here, 45% extra goods produced in every single province in our country. So we're getting 9.36 goods produced, for example, in the province of Bedfordshire, even though we only have 13 production development because of all those extra furnaces and other modifiers, which is absolutely mind-blowing. We almost reached 1 million ducats, and that also means that we also finished our last mission, the Industrial Revolution, meaning we got the ultimate achievement of Anglophile, the last achievement here on this list. So overall, not a bad run. I managed to get 5 achievements, a couple of which I didn't even know existed, to be fair. Now, to sum up the rest of the campaign between 1700s to 1821, it's basically a rinse and repeat. Conquer this, conquer that, and we have so much money that it literally is impossible for me to even spend it all. And if you guys enjoy this kind of campaign, then you should definitely check out my Byzantium Exodus to the New World movie, as I like to call it, a full campaign detailing our exodus to the New World and return to get back our old imperial lands. And I want to give a massive thank you to all of my patrons, channel members, and Twitch subscribers. I would not be able to do this without all your support.